pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll have a moment of silence, please. Thank you, everybody.
Now it's going. It wasn't counting up.
We okay now?
It went to one and kept going to one, but now it looks like it's going.
Okay, good, thank you. We will take the roll call, please.
Commissioner Sonato?
Here.
Commissioner Kennedy?
Here.
Commissioner Vogler?
Here. We have a quorum. At every meeting, we give two opportunities for public comment, one in just a few moments and then one before we adjourn. You're welcome to comment both times or one of the two times. If you're just here to listen, that's also fine. We do ask that your comments be related to county government matters, and that if you try to limit your time to about 5 minutes or so, we'd appreciate it if you could do that. Next on the agenda, row officer reports and comments, but none of our row officers are with us. They're not required to be here, but if they do show up, we always give them a chance to speak. So that takes us to public comment. So let me open the floor and see if anybody has a public comment this time. Hearing none, thank you. We'll move on. Under fiscal and contractual, we have in our packet, and incidentally, speaking in the packet, all of these documents are available if anybody wishes to see them. And Debbie, I'll turn mine over to you at the end of the meeting. We have the warrant register, also known as the check reconciliation register. It's presented to us by the county controller's office. This one is dated January 28 of 2025. Gentlemen, I'll give you time to look it over. And once you've done that, if one of you would like to make a motion for us to accept this, I'd appreciate that.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second. Thank you both. Any questions on the warrant register? Hearing none, we'll take a roll call to accept it.
Commissioner Sonato?
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Minutes of the January 28th, 2025 meeting are also in our packet. And Chris and Dan, take time to look them over. And once you've done that, I could accept a motion for us to adopt the minutes.
I move we accept the minutes.
And I'll second.
Thank you, gentlemen. Any questions or concerns? If not, we'll take a roll call, please.
Commissioner Sonato?
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. That takes us down to commissioner reports and comments. Commissioner, so you get to go first today.
Well, thank you, Chairman. I think it's been a fairly a little bit quieter week last weekend, and I'm trying to think some of the activities we've been involved with. I'm looking forward Friday to be going up to the Northwest Commission. This will be our first Northwest meeting of the year. I think it's important. It's a good organization, and I know we've been quite active. Lawrence County's been a part of that. I know with the broadband discussions that's going on with the Northwest. So I look forward to doing that this Friday, and that's probably the major thing for this week as far as activity and meeting. Just mentioning one other thing, it's I guess my former position that today is the day they introduced the budget in Harrisburg, and that's all I ask. My friend Josh Shapiro is, please remember, he promised us that $250 per vehicle 2 years ago. And hopefully maybe that could be part of his budget address. I haven't read it, but that was part of his key proposals he ran, and I just want to know I have not forgot. Get up to 4 vehicles, $250 a piece, and with the 86,000 people of Lawrence County, that money could come in handy for their expenses toward their vehicles. So I just like to throw that out there. We'll bring it up every 6 months, and hopefully this will get implemented this year in the budget that they deal with in Harrisburg. So that's really all I have to say.
Thank you so much, Chris. Commissioner Kennedy?
Well, I can say I was playing Chris over the weekend, and we went out to young Frank Augustine's opening of his card shop, and walked in there and saw them, and then we went down and checked out the pickleball courts while we were there, and they're doing very well too, so it's good to see. Then on the way home, we stopped at the new chocolate store on Route 18, and the place was pretty packed. So, as what Joe said to me this morning, it's nice to see small businesses in Orange County doing very well. That's really what makes up Orange County, all these small businesses. And we hope everybody supports them. So that's about all I have.
Well stated. Thank you. The only other thing I'll note is that tomorrow at noon, the Lawrence County Conservation District Board will hold its monthly public meeting at Ryder's Restaurant in Wilmington Township. I represent this board on that board, so I look forward to attending that meeting. Speaking of meetings, and I know it's not on our agenda here, we have an upcoming retirement board meeting. And I wrote down the 11th, but then I saw on our master calendar, it looks like it says the 18th. So if we could, maybe you have it there, Dan, but if we could double check, I know it's sometime this month.
Yes, it says the
18th, okay, so 2 weeks from today, based on what Dan just said, it looks as though we'll have our quarterly retirement board meeting. That's all I have. We move on to new business, and the first agenda item, and what number would this one be, Ryan?
23.
Number, resolution 23, and Vanessa Lovely is with us from Lawrence County Social Services, and it's always a pleasure to have you here, Vanessa. Thanks for coming up.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, and this is something we do every year, if I recall, so I'll let you fill us in on what you're asking us to consider.
Thank you. As Chairman Vogler said, every year I come in January to ask your approval to extend the Senior Citizen Nutritional Shopping Program. And for 2025, we're asking for $5,630. And what that would be used for is Lawrence County Social Services would pay ACTS a portion of our senior citizens who reside in Lawrence County, age 65 or over, who are riding with ACTS to the grocery store, the food pantry, or a farmer's market. And they can go anywhere they want within Lawrence County. And this program subsidizes those trips, so they only pay $1 per trip. That way they can go to the grocery store more often, have access to fresher produce and meats and whatnot. Prior to this program many years ago, we were finding that our seniors only wanted or only could afford to go to the grocery store maybe once a month. And obviously then they're not able to have that healthy food all month. So we take the $5,630 from you, and we match that against projected just shy of $45,000 of subsidy that would come from PennDOT Senior Citizen Program. And as I mentioned, the passenger would pay $1. And for 2024, we served 159 unduplicated residents. They took 3,192 trips, and they actually took 72 more trips than I had projected they would take, which is good. So we're projecting up just a little bit for 2025 at 168 people, 3,384 trips. And then I mentioned that 5,630 hopefully approved from our commissioners.
Well, thanks for that, Vanessa. We appreciate the background and some of the data that you've shared with us. Joe, I assume this was built into the current year's budget since it's an annual allocation. Yes. Okay, thank you. That's the only question I have, and I'll see if Commissioner Kennedy has any questions. No, sir. Commissioner Sanada.
I just remember Vanessa made this presentation last year. It seems like it was a success once again, and so they can go more than once per month now.
Absolutely, yes.
So some do it weekly. How often do most seniors do it?
Well, it depends upon the person. Some go weekly, Some go several times per month, and some might only go once per month, but we do see more frequency in travel and going. And then when they ride with Axe, we try to limit to what they and the driver can carry, or the driver might make a trip or two. So that way it's more manageable for them as well when they're traveling. You don't have to get this huge, cart of groceries.
That's what I was gonna ask, because sometimes, you get a monthly, there's an awful lot of groceries to put on there. No, I think it's a great program. Do they go to like different stores? How does that work? Is it just when they make the reservation, do they say we're gonna go to Giant Eagle or Aldi's or Shoppers, they're saying along, how does that work?
It's up to the passenger, so they'll call in and tell us where they want to go and when, and we take them there. And, so it's really up to them. We have a group of ladies who live at Shillmanor and Elwood that they just happen to all book their trips to Walmart at the same time. 5 or 6 of them will go together, and they'll make an afternoon out of it. But they can choose to go wherever they would like.
I think that's a great idea, especially with some of the senior centers who they don't have transportation. If they get more of them together, that would be more efficient, I think, for Axe and for them. Like you said, make a day of it, they're going to go to 3 or 4 stops to buy their monthly groceries. So, interesting. Well, I appreciate all the information.
Thank you. So once again, this is any Lawrence County resident, 65 or over, who lives anywhere within the borders of this county, and they can be taken to any establishment within the borders of the county, grocery stores, farmers markets, I think I heard you say, that sort of thing, that sells food. Thank you. Are there any other questions for Vanessa? If not, gentlemen, would one of you care to make a motion for Resolution 23?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Thank you both. If there are no other concerns or questions, we'll ask Ryan to call the roll, please.
Commissioner Sonato?
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Vanessa, thanks for coming up. You're very welcome to stick around, but I'm sure you're busy, so if you have to head out, we understand.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for being with us today.
Of course.
Next on the agenda from our planning office, we have our planning director, Amy McKinney. Good morning, Amy.
Hi there, how are you?
I'm doing well, hope you are too.
Yeah, thank you.
We have, I guess I'd characterize it as, for lack of a better term, change order. That's probably not the appropriate.
DCD world is a modification.
Oh, thank you. A little fancy, right? So this involves the Community Development Block Grant Program, and you had mentioned this to us, but obviously we've got to take some formal action. This is proposed resolution 24, so can you fill us in, please?
Sure. With our fiscal year 2024 application that we submitted back in late October, we identified some activities we wanted to hopefully be able to get approved at the state. One of them was a project that Eden Valley Borough had submitted for an ADA grant that they wanted to put at their borough building. And we had put down about $30,000 for that project. In DCD's review, when they came back, with HUD's regulations, it's a lot more that goes into just putting in the ramp. We also have to worry about the sidewalks, parking lot. So it becomes a much, much bigger project that we had budgeted for and even planned for in terms of engineering. So in order to meet our deadline, DCD's deadline with HUD, we need to move those funds right now, the $30,000 to housing rehab. That way we can get our contract approved and not hold up the other projects that are waiting for the contract. And then with the hope that we're going to sit down with Eden Valley Borough and let them know that, if you want to do this project, it's not this scale, it's this scale. There'll be more money that they would have to contribute as well. And we can get some more better ideas with engineering estimates. So hopefully we can go back in the fall if they want to and apply with our fiscal year 2025 funds if they're wanting to, the borough. But as of right now, so we don't hold up the contract for the other county projects, Shenango Township and Elwood City Borough and Union, we need to do this modification. So we did we had to advertise in the paper. We had a public hearing yesterday that Commissioner Kennedy attended. I just like to put somebody down, right? And so no public attended the meeting. We have had no comments in regards to the change. That's something that we're required to do. And then you, the Board of Commissioners, have to pass a resolution approving the modification.
Appreciate your giving us that order of events. I think I know the answer, but I have to ask, have you had conversations with any of the borough officials in Eden Valley so that
The only one that we discussed this with was the secretary.
the borough secretary?
And everybody, when we do our CDBG application, we always do kind of like a call for applications in the 23 non-entitlements.
Right.
So the 23 non-entitlements, usually in May, we'll send out a packet letting them know that if they would like to apply for funding through the CDBG program, these are the eligible activities. They have to submit the application, they have to do all of the legwork. But when we submit the application, we let them know that it's not an automatic approval. This is just something we are asking DCD to approve, and then they always come back with a review. And either they need more information or they say that it's not an eligible project. Right now, it's not that it's not an eligible project, it's just a larger scope of work than anybody anticipated. It's gonna cost more money, and we need to make sure everybody's on board with that.
So the borough secretary is aware of this.
Yeah.
And hopefully, that's Mrs. Thyre, I believe. And hopefully she'll make her borough council and the borough mayor.
I'm gonna follow up with her today after this
Okay.
after you guys approve it.
And I assume that you and your office will continue to work with them on this issue in any way that you can. as far
Well,
as
yeah,
finding
we'll
out.
assist them with, what will happen is I need to let them know this is what, if this is the project you wanna do, this is the actual project that has to happen.
Yes,
We need to get some estimates, which Bill Humphrey, he can help us out on the estimates, but then they need to know that there's money that needs to come from the borough too, like matching funds.
okay. All right, well, thank you. Appreciate your bringing this to us. Hopefully, at the end of the day, something can work out favorably for the borough.
Absolutely, and this has happened before. We had a project in Mahoning Township, we weren't able to qualify the 1 year, so we just kind of moved it to rehab.
Right?
And now we have them on a new, this year's fiscal year, we made the application, so hopefully we'll be able to get it approved for them this time.
Okay.
Sometimes it just takes a little bit longer.
I appreciate,
With the regulations with federal government.
understood. And I'm sure you've pointed that out to the folks in the borough that these aren't our rules or your
Well,
rules,
right,
these are
yeah, that's
federal
right,
and
this is
state
coming
rules.
down from, yeah.
Okay, well, thanks for all your work on that. Mr. Sanada, any questions for?
No, and he was quite thorough, so.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Commissioner Kennedy?
No.
No? Okay, thank you. So, the proposal here would, this involves a modification request that will go to the Department of Community and Economic Development. We will, for the time being at least, withdraw the request for ADA improvements for the borough building in the borough of Enid Valley. And we will take those initial dollars that were initially earmarked for that project, the amount of $30,000, and apply them to the county housing rehabilitation activity. And once again, if the borough is still interested in moving forward, we'll certainly do what we can to work with them. Okay. Gentlemen, that all being said, would one of you care to make a motion for Resolution 24?
I'll make it.
I'll second.
Thank you both. Any other questions? If not, we'll take a roll call, please.
Commissioner Sonato?
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you. Amy, thanks so much for joining us. And
Just so you better, on the letterhead that goes to the department, that will require your signature on there, just in case you didn't see that, so.
will it be upstairs? I mean,
Is it in the packet or you
Yes,
have it?
I have the original.
we'll get it taken care of
Thank
this
you
morning.
very much.
And real quick before you head out, is there going to be a planning
Yeah.
commission meeting next Wednesday?
Next Wednesday.
Is it in Shannon?
Yes, it is, yes.
Okay.
It's in the Shannon Township next Wednesday, we do have 2 plans on it.
Oh, good. So that's noon, a week from tomorrow, open to the public.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. Amy, thank you.
Thank you, have a good day, guys.
Wish you well.
Thank you, Jeff.
We have a transfer request that has been sent to us by the controller's office. They had a printer that unexpectedly broke, and they have to get a new printer, obviously. And what they're asking us to do is transfer $1,200 from their contingency into their minor equipment line item. Dan, any concerns about that?
No.
Chris? No. Okay, this is the only transfer request we have. Would one of you care to make a motion for it?
I'll make that.
I'll second.
Thank you both, gentlemen. Ask for a roll call.
Commissioner Sanado?
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. We skip all the way down to announcements, and we'll note that 1 week from today, the Board of Commissioners will meet again in public in this room at 10 a.m. As we just mentioned, on February 12, next Wednesday at 12 noon, the County Planning Commission will hold their monthly public meeting at the Neshannock Township Municipal Building on Mercer Road. The courthouse will be closed on Monday, February 17, in observance of President's Day. That's also a federal holiday. And once again, it looks as though on the 18th, we'll have our quarterly retirement board meeting that will include the three of us and the controller and the treasurer. Let me open it up for any public comment. Debbie, anything?
I have a couple questions. I'd like to wait until we're off the record.
Certainly.
We're on the record, but off the tape record.
Understood. That's fine. David? Okay. Closing comments from my fellow commissioners. Mr. Sanada? No. No, sir. Mr. Kennedy?
Nothing.
Ryan or Joe, anything that we maybe forgot or overlooked?
No.
All right. Thank you all for joining us today. May I have an adjournment motion?
I move we adjourn.
I'll second.
All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. Meeting's adjourned. Thank you, everybody. We'll
Savings you just can't beat. Oh, this orange is gross.
Thank you very much. We have some very exciting news today. We have numerous fronts are being covered. Before we do that, will give me certain proclamations. We'll sign them, and you'll hear a little bit about them. Will, please?
Yes, sir. First, we have for your signature 5 official designations of special envoys. The first is Mr. Steve Witkoff, who's actually in the room to be your Middle East envoy.
Where is Steve? Right here, Mr. Steve Witkoff, everybody. Done a great job in the Middle East, really great. But we'll see how it all turns out. It's complex, but I think he's going to do very well.
Next, we have Mauricio Claver-Carone to be your special envoy to Latin America, sir.
Okay, good man. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Next, we have retired General Keith Kellogg to be your special envoy on Russian-Ukraine issues.
We've made a lot of progress on Russia, Ukraine. We'll see what happens, but a lot of progress has been made. We're going to stop that ridiculous war. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Next, we have designation of Rick Grinnell, to be your envoy for special missions.
I sent him to California to turn on the water. We turned it on. It was not easy because we had to go through a lot of environmentalists that are causing a lot of problems. And we have billions of gallons of water. It was on 3 days ago. You probably saw. It should have gotten a lot of press, but it didn't get much. All we're doing is giving Los Angeles and the entire state of California virtually unlimited water, which they could have done 5 years ago, which I told them they should do, but the environmentalists stopped them. And we opened it, and we did it regardless of the state. And now the state seems to be very happy. I spoke with Gavin Newsom, and he's very happy. I almost called him by the other name, didn't I? My little nickname for him. But I think they're all happy. They have a lot of water in California. Too bad we didn't have it about 2 months ago, right?
Mr. President,
That
Rick
was,
Grinnell
by
had
the
a
way,
big...
that was a big move. We have, I don't know if you saw the pictures that were released of the water pouring down from the Pacific Northwest and Canada and lots of other places. And it's a pretty amazing sight.
Mr. President, Rick Grinnell had a big Friday trip as well.
He had a very big Friday trip, you're right. We'll talk about that. He's a good man, Rick.
Lastly, sir, we have a designation of Mark Burnett as your special envoy to the United Kingdom.
You know who Mark Burnett is?
Survivor.
He should be good. He's certainly done a great job. Friend of mine and very talented guy. We have very talented people working for us. I'll hold that one up because Mark gets so much television. We'll hold it up, right? He'll be thrilled to see it. He's going to do a good job.
Thank you, sir. Next, your administration has smashed records for appointing large numbers of